I am Shen Sinan's white moonlight. On the day I married him, he swore never to let me down. 3 years after marriage, I accidentally came across a question on Zhihu. What is it like to marry your first love? The highly liked answer was that he wrote it. I started with tears welling up, but now I feel unbearably uncomfortable, because I'm not her first man, and I feel dirty. To be fair, I slept with another woman. Alright, since that's the case, I don't want anything dirty either. Chapter 1. I am Shen Sinan's white moonlight. When I saw this answer, my hand holding the mouse trembled involuntarily, and my blood froze. It was as if cold water had been poured over him from head to toe, chilling him to the bone. Some people echoed his answer. Men always hope their woman is the first time. Under the comments, there were also insults and questions, saying that the Qin dynasty had long since fallen, so why did anyone still care about this? Netizens complained. Is this your first time? If not, what right do you have to demand your wife to be? He replied. That's why I feel so uncomfortable the more I think about it now. Every time I was with her, I couldn't help but wonder who she gave the first time. Gradually, my tolerance for her started to drop, and now I didn't want to sleep in the same bed with him anymore. Some netizens joked. Bro, for fairness, why don't you sleep with a woman too? He didn't reply again, just sent an approving emoji. Tears streamed uncontrollably, and I felt as if my heart was being gripped tightly by an invisible hand, then torn apart with force, shattering into pieces. I could hardly believe how the person who claimed to love me could say such painful words behind my back. Just because it's not my first time, now all I have left for him is discomfort. So why did you want to be with me in the first place? Before I married Shen Sinan, I had a boyfriend of many years, Liu Hongshou. Just before the wedding, Liu Hongshou cheated on his junior. It was Shen Sinan who stayed by my side through those difficult days. With his guidance and companionship, I gradually came out of it. When he confessed to me for the 9th time, I nodded in agreement. His eyes were red with excitement as he hugged me and spun around in his arms. To share the joy with everyone, I even bought all the orders for the entire restaurant. Because I was so surprised, for a long time, he even feared that being with him was just his fantasy. He kept sending me messages to confirm, leaving me both amused and exasperated. After a year together, he proposed to me. At the wedding, his voice was so choked he could barely speak, tears welling up in his eyes, and he vowed passionately to never let me down. Son, I don't even know how long I've been sitting frozen on the sofa. Until the door was opened. Shen Sinan came in from outside. Honey, the air conditioning in the room is set so low. Aren't you cold? He put things on the coffee table and turned on the air conditioner warm. He casually picked up a blanket from one side and covered my legs, holding my hand to try to warm me. I stared at him blankly, his eyes full of tenderness and deep emotion, showing no sign of anything unusual. His eyes were full of concern, not fake, but how could he say such heartbreaking words behind his back? I couldn't quite understand it anymore, only feeling a painful pain in my heart, and tears uncontrollably fell. He panicked when he saw me cry, and in a panic, grabbed a tissue to wipe my tears. Honey, why are you crying? Was it the baby who made a fuss to you? Feeling uncomfortable, he probably thought my emotions were unstable during pregnancy and just kept comforting me. It's all my fault. I should have come back earlier to be with you. After saying that, she took out my favorite strawberry cake from the bag she had brought back, thoughtfully opened the box for me, and fed it to my mouth in small bites. So gentle, so considerate. If I hadn't accidentally found his answer on his computer today, I would never have dreamed that someone who always seemed to love me so much would actually despise me deep down. So, after he went into the bathroom to wash up, his phone kept ringing non-stop, and I instinctively wanted to pick it up and turn it off. But after seeing the information on the screen, my pupils instantly contracted, and I stared intently at the screen. What should I do? I just left and already started thinking about you. Note, Zhou Qingqing. She was Shen Sinan's childhood friend and had liked him since childhood. Shen Sinan said he only treated her like a sister and didn't have much interaction with her. The sister he mentioned now had little connection with was pinned to the top of his messages. I unlocked it, opened their chat window, and kept scrolling upward, making me shiver all over. The girl pouted playfully. When do you plan to divorce and marry me? I gave you the first time. If you dare not take responsibility for me, I won't be able to avoid you. I'm not like your wife, someone who just goes around easily. In this lifetime, I'll only recognize you as my man. He replied. Yes, I'll find a chance to talk to her. My hand holding the phone trembled uncontrollably. I should have noticed earlier, didn't I? Everything had long been traceable. 5. A few months ago, Shen Sinan sent Zhihu. To liven up the atmosphere, my friends shouted that they played truth or dare. The battle spun perfectly in front of me, and the girl sitting next to Zhou Qingqing looked at me provocatively. Was it your first time being with Sinan? As soon as these words were spoken, the previously noisy private room immediately fell silent. She was Zhou Qingqing's best friend, and she felt I stole her man, always standing up for Zhou Qingqing. Before I could say anything, Shen Sinan, sitting nearby, slammed his wine glass down on the table, reached out to hug me, kissed me on the forehead, and gave the girl a forced smile and a mocking glance. What's the first one? I will be her last man. Though he said that, the smile on his face didn't reach his eyes, and the hand around my waist grew heavier. That night, after returning home, Shen Sinan had been smoking on the sofa for a long time, and I reminded him to rest early. He stopped out his cigarette, pulled me over, and fiercely pinned me against the wall and kissed me down. That night's experience was far from pleasant. It seemed he was trying to vent his anger in this way. He only stopped moving until I cried. He sighed, pulled me into his arms, and apologized softly. I held back the pain and asked him what was wrong, but he just shook his head. It's nothing, go to bed early. Since then, he has held me as usual as he sleeps, but I keenly sensed that there seemed to be a barrier between us. He seemed to be drifting further and further away from me. I tried to communicate with him, but he always avoided the topic and shook his head, using the excuse that work pressure was high and he had started staying out all night. It's laughable that I only realized now that he was neglecting me because of that sentence. In his mind, I had someone before, but he wasn't my first man, so now he thinks I'm dirty. But he found out when he was pursuing me. I once asked him if he minded my relationship with my ex-boyfriend. He had witnessed all my first feelings, from falling in love to being cheated on. At that time, he just held me with pity and said, "You met the wrong person, I just feel sorry for you." Liu! Honey, what are you daydreaming about? A pair of large hands hugged me from behind, and the fresh scent of mint from my bath filled my nose. Remembering the information I had just seen, my stomach ached uncontrollably. I pressed my hand against his chest and struggled to break free. Because of my movement, his bathrobe was a bit loose, and my gaze casually fell on the marks visible on his loose waist. The words I wanted to say froze in my mouth. When did you get a tattoo? His body stiffened for a moment, and he awkwardly pulled at his bathrobe. Oh, just a few days ago. He glanced at me, his eyes darting away. You're born in the year of the rabbit. I specially got a rabbit tattoo so it feels like you're always by my side. It's getting late, go to bed early. You need to rest early right now. After speaking, he gently patted my head, then lay down beside me and slowly closed his eyes. I shifted aside, broke free from his embrace, turned to the side, and the conversation I had just seen flashed through my mind. To punish you for ignoring me for so many years and marrying another woman, I'm going to get you a tattoo, one without anesthesia, so you can feel pain. Just imagine what it's like to see you with that woman. I'm born in the year of the rabbit. I'll tattoo a rabbit on your waist, so that whenever you see this rabbit, you'll always remember me. And also, your wife is not allowed to touch her, got it? I'll listen to you. The girl replied with a smug expression. 7. The next morning, after getting up, Shen Sinan was preparing breakfast in the kitchen as usual. His tall figure stood out in the cramped space. Since getting married, Whenever he wasn't on business trips at home, he always thoughtfully prepared breakfast. He placed the bowl of porridge on the table. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught sight of me standing there and chuckled softly. "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and wash your hands and eat breakfast." I pulled myself back from my thoughts, slowly walked over to sit at the dining table, looked at him, opened my mouth. But before I could finish, a ringtone interrupted me. He answered. The other party didn't know what he said, but his expression was grave as he replied, "All right, I'll be right there." After putting down the phone, she looked at me apologetically. "Honey, there's an urgent matter at work. I can't accompany you for today's prenatal checkup. I'll call Aunt Wang to come with you. Today is the day of my third prenatal checkup." He had already agreed with me that no matter how busy work got, he would accompany me. Seeing his troubled expression, I put down my spoon and spoke slowly. "No need, I'll have my best friend accompany me. If you have something to do, go ahead and get busy." He breathed a sigh of relief. "Then be careful yourself. Call me sometimes." With that, he grabbed his coat and hurried away. I watched his retreating figure. The millet porridge in my mouth became bland, and I put down my bowl. Bah! I didn't ask my best friend to accompany me, but instead finished my checkup alone and took a taxi to a certain place. The place Shen Sinan had just mentioned on the phone. After arriving at the destination, I didn't get out of the car. He just stared intently at the man and woman not far away, lost in thought. At this moment, Zhou Qingqing was wearing a pure white wedding dress, hooking her arm around Shen Sinan's neck, smiling freely. He just looked at him with indulgence, and the photographer took the opportunity to capture this beautiful scene. Their conversation could still be faintly heard in my ears. "Is it your wife who looks good in a wedding dress? Or me?" "Of course it's you." Shen Sinan looked on dotingly and gently stroked her hair. "When exactly are you going to divorce and marry me? Weren't you worried that having children would affect your figure? After she had the child, I would divorce her." The girl smiled wide-eyed, kissed her as a reward, and the two kissed fiercely. My nails had sunk into the flesh but didn't hurt at all. It turned out he left me behind for a prenatal checkup just to take wedding photos with other women. After a long while, the driver noticed my curious gaze and looked me over. "You know them?" I snapped back to reality and spoke slowly. "That's my husband." The driver's smile stiffened. He glanced at my stomach, then looked back at them. "Are you here to catch someone in the act?" I didn't respond, just picked up my phone, took 2 photos, and then told the driver to drive. 9. That night, Shen Sinan didn't go home but sent a message saying he was on a business trip to a neighboring province. Meanwhile, Zhou Qingqing posted on her moments. "Someone has a home and won't come back, insisting on staying at my place to torment me all night, saying that taking wedding photos would be our wedding night." The photo shows the two leaning on the bed tightly embracing each other. My stomach churned violently, and I couldn't hold back any longer. I rushed to the bathroom, lay on the toilet, and kept retching, as if I was about to throw up all my internal organs. After a long time, I looked up and saw myself in the mirror, pale as paper, utterly disheveled. It was a mess. It wasn't until the next night that Shen Sinan returned. He held a gift box and eagerly opened it to show me like a treasure. "Honey, I bought you the necklace you saw in the magazine before. Take a look and see if you like it." The massive ruby necklace sparkled under the lights, dazzling and captivating. "Yeah, it's really beautiful." His eyes were as tender as water, and he looked at me with affection. If I hadn't seen them together, I would have felt very moved. After all, I just casually said it looked good, and he remembered it and bought the sky-high jewelry to give it to me. He excitedly tried to help me put it on. "Let me put it on for you to see." I discreetly turned my face away, avoiding his outstretched hand. He was a bit stunned, not understanding what was happening. "What's wrong?" I looked him straight in the eye. "Did you really go on a business trip yesterday?" His face showed a bit of panic, his eyes darting away, but he quickly recovered. "What's wrong with you? How could I possibly lie to you?" "Went for a prenatal checkup yesterday." "How is the baby?" Did the doctor say anything? After saying that, she gently touched my belly, trying to change the subject. I moved his hand away and placed the photos I took yesterday in front of him. Zhou Qingqing was wearing a white wedding dress, smiling freely, while Shen Sinan watched her with a doting expression. Shen Sinan, how much longer do you plan to lie to me? Chapter 2. His expression instantly changed panic when he saw the photo, and he grabbed my hand. That's not it, listen to me. Zhou Qingqing and I were just taking pictures for fun. I just treated her like a little sister. I didn't expect that, with all the evidence right in front of me, he still wouldn't admit it, saying he would treat her as his sister. He really is a complete scoundrel, refusing to admit anything. I sneered and dug up that answer on my phone. You posted the answer on Zhihu, right? His face turned deathly pale. But unusually, he didn't argue or explain. After a few seconds of silence, he finally spoke. I'll cut ties with Zhou Qingqing completely. I forcefully pulled my hand back. Let's get a divorce. I took out the divorce agreement I had urgently drafted today with the lawyer and placed it in front of him. Since the marriage had problems, ending it was the best choice. His face instantly darkened, his tone full of confusion. Zhihu, what are you making a fuss about? You want a divorce over something like this? 11. Shen Sinan refused to agree to the divorce and angrily tore up the divorce agreement on the spot. In his view, all of this was because of me. He was only pursuing so-called fairness, which is why he cheated and slept with someone else, so I shouldn't have used this as an excuse. He tried to use this excuse to manipulate me, telling me to behave and not resist. He also promised to cut off contact with Zhou Qingqing. I couldn't help but find it especially ridiculous. Was this really how fairness was used in his eyes? He is probably the only one who can talk about his own marital affairs and betrayal so fresh and unconventional. 12. When my parents learned about my divorce, they firmly opposed it. He just made the mistake any man makes, and he's already promised to cut ties with all the women outside. Why make such a fuss? Wouldn't it be better to turn a blind eye and let it pass? Besides, you're still pregnant. When the child is born, will you just let him grow up in an unhealthy family? From my parents' perspective, divorce was a loss of their face, making them lose face and unable to hold their heads high in front of others. So no matter how happy I was, for their sake, I would never agree. Shen Sinan was exactly what my parents were thinking, which is why he acted so fearlessly. From childhood to adulthood, I have always been the obedient girl in my parents' eyes, never going against them, but when it comes to this matter, I will never compromise. Just like a wedding photo frame with cracks, no matter how much you patch it, it will still show marks. After all, life is something you live yourself, like drinking water only you know its warmth or coldness. Life isn't about living for others to see. 13. Shen Sinan started staying by my side every day like a good teacher. He didn't even attend social events at night, came home early after work every day, and prepared dinner for me, trying to make up for me with this cheap gesture to win my heart. But he surely knew that once a crack appeared in a relationship, it could never be repaired, let alone when it was a matter of principle. But someone couldn't help but come knocking. Zhihu, I've been childhood friends with Sinan. You, the shameless third party, why do you steal his attention the moment you show up? Do you know what he said to me? He said he felt disgusted every time he was with you. You're with another man and then have Sinan be the one to take over, holding him for years and still refusing to let go. You're shameless. I might already have his child in my belly now. I advise you to leave on your own if you know what's good for you. She was completely arrogant and determined, carrying the demeanor of a victor. I looked at her coldly. Are mistresses really that arrogant now? The dignified Zhou family's daughter was so willing to let herself fall so willingly. If you had that much ability, why would you have tried to persuade him to divorce me? Why would he show off in front of me? Or is it that he refuses to marry you? She seemed to have been hit with something in the heart, and in a fit of anger and shame, she wanted to hit her. But when his gaze caught sight of the figure outside the door, his expression changed instantly, and he slapped himself across the face. Then, she covered her face. Her eyes reddened, tears streaming down her face as she cried out. Miss G, I'm just here to ask Sinan for help. Even if you don't like me, you can't hit me, right? What are you doing? Shen Sinan's cold voice sounded from behind. Sinan, I don't know why Miss G is so hostile toward me. As she spoke, she took the opportunity to lean closer into his embrace. I relaxed on the sofa and watched their performance. Zhihu, aren't you going to explain? Shen Sinan looked at me. I curled my lips into a cold smile, and before they could react, I slapped Zhou Qingqing hard. Smack! The slap was crisp and loud. Since you say I hit you, I can't bear this charge for nothing. Several palm prints instantly appeared on Zhou Qingqing's face. Chapter 3. She was stunned by the beating and froze for a few seconds before she realized. Tears in her eyes, covering her face and crying uncontrollably. Shen Sinan glared at me angrily. Zhihu, what are you doing? You're going too far. Apologize. Shen Sinan, if you truly care about her, I advise you to sign the divorce papers quickly, so you don't know what might happen next. Disappointment flashed in Shen Sinan's eyes. Zhihu, how did you end up like this? He let go of Zhou Qingqing's hand and tried to reach out and grab me. But I dodged them. How am I? Could it be that the mistress came to the main wife to show off, and I still need to tolerate it? Do you think I'm easy to bully? If you really care about her, I advise you to sign the divorce papers as soon as possible. Shen Sinan interrupted, staring straight at me and speaking with a heavier tone. I said I don't agree to the divorce. Zhou Qingqing, standing nearby, turned pale and seemed to collapse when she heard this. Sinan, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. Shen Sinan was stunned for a moment before turning around, reaching out to hug her. After a moment, he hurried but steadily embraced her and walked out. 14. After they left, Lu Hangzhou suddenly reappeared. Zhihu, do you know what Shen Sinan did behind your back? I didn't want to pay him any mind. I pulled the door back with my right hand to close it, then quickly reached in with one foot to block it. Lu Hangzhou, what exactly do you want? When I explained the junior girl matter to you, it was just a misunderstanding. It was Shen Sinan who deliberately set me up to be with you. But you didn't believe it, and even firmly broke up with Shen Sinan. But what was the outcome? Now he's taking advantage of your pregnancy to get involved with his childhood sweetheart sister. Do you still want to be with him now? I spoke impatiently. What are you trying to say? Judging by your behavior, it seems you've noticed something, haven't you? Then why are you still with him? Do you really love him that much? I don't love him, but do I still love you? Was it true that he caught him in the act back then? I trusted you so much, and we were about to get married back then. But how did you do it? These past few years, you've been trying to stir up trouble between me and Shen Sinan in front of me. What's your intention? He grabbed my hand, his tone flustered. As long as you're willing, I'll always be with you. I scoffed. What makes you think I'll turn back? A good horse doesn't eat grass from the past. Please don't come looking for me again. 15. After deciding to divorce Shen Sinan, I made an appointment with the doctor for an abortion surgery. I don't want my child to be born into an unhealthy family. I don't want to have any further connection with Shen Sinan because of this child. I just don't know how Shen Sinan will react when he finds out that the child he's been waiting for so long was aborted by me. I finished the surgery alone at the hospital, and Lu Hangzhou appeared before me again. Let me take you home. I didn't know how he ended up here, but before I could say no, I heard a female voice. Sinan, wait for me. My gaze shifted to Shen Sinan standing not far away. We met his eyes and he strode toward me. Zhou Qingqing saw us speak first, looking like she was caught in the act. Zhihu, what are you and President Lu? Shen Sinan's eyes darkened, his thin lips pressed into a straight line, and his deep voice revealed deep displeasure. How did you two end up together? The faint pain and discomfort from my body after the surgery made me lose the mood to pay him any attention. I turned away expressionlessly, preparing to leave without saying a word to get the medicine. Shen Sinan rushed to block my way, grabbing my wrist hard. Zhihu, don't you need to explain? I couldn't help but frown and replied coldly. Explain what? He was about to speak, but as his gaze landed on the surgical order, Shen Sinan's pupils involuntarily contracted, and he gripped my hand even harder. What did you do? Then he yanked the surgery and medication slips from my hands. His eyes widened in disbelief, his hand holding the documents trembling uncontrollably. The color drained from his face, his eyes bloodshot as he questioned, his voice squeezed out through clenched teeth. Did you abort the child? Zhihu, how dare you? How dare you abort the child without my permission? I forcefully shook off his wrist, stepped back 2 paces, looked up at him, and sneered. This is my child, and I have the right to decide whether he stays or leaves. Besides, we're about to get divorced, so you have even less reason to know. Upon hearing this, his fist clenched tightly, veins bulging on his arm, and his eyes were filled with pain and anger. The next second, he charged at me like a madman, gripping my shoulder with all his might, his eyes flashing coldly, extremely dangerous. We haven't divorced yet. What right do you have to decide to abort my child on your own? Seeing him like this, I couldn't help but find it utterly ridiculous. His child, why didn't he think about the child in my belly when he cheated and betrayed me? If you pretend like this now, who are you trying to show off? Seeing this, Lu Hangzhou immediately stepped forward and pulled him away. Shen Sinan, let her go. But Shen Sinan forcefully shook him aside. Get lost. You have no right to meddle in matters between us as husband and wife. She just had surgery and is physically weak. As soon as he heard the word surgery, Shen Sinan's anger exploded instantly, and he threw a powerful punch at Lu Hangzhou. Lu Hangzhou, was it you who did it? Was it you who encouraged Zhihu to abort the child so you could win her back? So many years have passed and you still haven't given up, still thinking about her. How can you be so despicable and shameless? How could Lu Hangzhou show weakness? He counterpunched back. How could I shamelessly lie with you? Zhihu is already pregnant, and you're still involved with your childhood sweetheart. You're even more shameless. The two of them refused to back down an inch, moving so forcefully it seemed like they wanted to tear each other alive. Zhou Qingqing was on the verge of tears and rushed over to break up the fight. Get out of my way. At this moment, Shen Sinan was already blinded by anger and pushed Zhou Qingqing away with a forceful push. Zhou Qingqing collapsed to the ground, her face pale, moaning in pain, bright red fluid flowing from her lower body. My stomach hurt so much. 16. Zhou Qingqing had a miscarriage, even though she herself didn't know she was pregnant. I heard that the Shen and Zhou families are currently at odds over this matter, forcing Shen Sinan to take a stance. When Shen's parents found out I had aborted the child without permission, they were furious and demanded that Shen Sinan divorce me and marry Zhou Qingqing. I thought Shen Sinan approached me to discuss divorce. He looked much more dejected, with bruises under his eyes. I will never agree to a divorce. Shen Sinan, what's the point of being so stiff? In my view, he just thinks that since I brought up divorce first, he can't possibly be out of love for me. Like a child's own toy, even if he doesn't throw it away, he won't allow himself to be abandoned. But whatever he thinks has nothing to do with me. If you don't agree, then you'll have to go through judicial procedures. I tossed out those words and slammed the door shut with a heavy slam. Chapter 4. 17. I was kidnapped. The moment I stepped out of the supermarket. When I woke up again, I found myself tied to a chair, my head covered by a black bag, unable to see my surroundings. I rubbed my hands hard against the chair, trying to untie the rope. Before long, the door was pushed open from outside. I heard someone striding toward me. The next second, the bag on my head was roughly torn away. The intense light stung my eyes. I struggled to open them, and the person standing before me was Zhou Qingqing. She waved a knife in front of me, looking at me nonchalantly. Tell me, if I ruined you, would Shen Sinan still like you? I was the one who met him first. I grew up with him. When we played house, he always played the groom, and I played the bride. I always thought I would marry him in the end. But until you appeared, his eyes were all on you. Do you know how much I hate you? I met him first, and I liked him first, but in the end, he still chose to be with you. Even now, when I got pregnant or even miscarried, he would rather give up the Shen family's inheritance than divorce you and marry me. She became agitated, her delicate face twisting as she gritted her teeth and said, "It's you. It's all because of you. If you hadn't shown up, he would have been mine. You deserve to die." I couldn't understand this way of thinking. Clearly, everything was because of that man, yet she blamed me for everything. Go to hell. After saying that, I picked up the knife in my hand, ready to stab me, but instinctively closed my eyes. A commotion came from outside the door. Zhou Qingqing stopped mid-air, turned around, and saw Shen Sinan anxiously appearing before her. Zhou Qingqing defensively pressed a knife against my neck, threatening him. "Don't come any closer." Shen Sinan froze in place, not daring to move, trying to calm her down. The sound of police cars honking outside the door sounded. Zhou Qingqing frantically raised her knife and stabbed at me. In the blink of an eye, Shen Sinan dashed over, recklessly blocking my way, blood spurting from his body. Zhou Qingqing was taken away by the police. 18. Inside the hospital. After timely rescue, Shen Sinan was finally out of danger. When he woke up, I looked at him calmly. "How did you know I was kidnapped?" He lowered his eyes, and after a long pause, he replied, "I'm downstairs from you every day, but I was afraid you'd dislike me, so I didn't show up." I lowered my eyes, feeling conflicted. He knew deep down that all the harm I had suffered was caused by him. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be in this situation. I was silent for a few seconds before speaking. "Take good care of your injuries." With that, he prepared to leave. Seeing this, he ignored the pain from his wounds and hurriedly reached out to grab me. "Zhihu, don't go. I know I'm not qualified to say that. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have gone through all this, but I still want to ask you. Can you? Please give me one more chance, don't get divorced, okay?" I brushed his hand away and looked at him calmly. "Shen Sinan, when you started to dislike me and cheated in pursuit of so-called fairness, you should have known the outcome between us. So don't act like that now, it's just disgusting. If you truly feel guilty, then please sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible." Upon hearing this, the hope in his eyes gradually faded. "Think it through carefully." With that, he turned and left. 19. Within 2 days, I received the divorce agreement sent by Shen Sinan. He had already signed it, and the compensation was several times higher than the one I had previously set. He had transferred almost 90% of his assets to me. I called him. He was silent for a moment. "This is what you deserve, and consider it my compensation to you." Since he insisted on this, I wouldn't go against money. Before hanging up, he added, "Zhihu, if divorce is what you want, then I'm willing to let you go. But I'll always wait for you in the same place. I'm willing to wait for you to change your mind." I didn't answer him. After a moment of silence, I hung up. I have no control over what he wants. I only know that late affection is cheaper than grass. People only learn to cherish after losing something, but in this world, how can there be a way back? No one knows what the future holds. Right now, I just want to take advantage of my youth to see more of our motherland's beautiful landscapes. 20. After the divorce, I quit my job at the magazine and transitioned into a travel blogger. During the trip, I met a boy 3 years younger than me. He is sincere, passionate, kind, and brave. Nor did I lose hope in love because of my previous 2 failed relationships. I know well that was just a small episode in my life's journey, not a true picture of love. So when a new relationship arrived, I was still willing to open my heart and embrace him again. Shen Sinan Extra. On Zhihu's wedding day, I hid in a corner watching her. She smiled with her eyes curved like a smile as she linked arms with a man. It was clear she was very happy at that moment. An envious voice came from beside him. Seeing their expressions, I started to believe in love again. I couldn't help but recall that on the day we got married, I was so moved I was in tears. Almost in tears I had married the girl I loved. But after 3 years together, whenever Lu Hongshou appeared in front of me to provoke me, I couldn't help but think of all the things Zhihu had with him before. I started to feel wildly jealous, even though I was now by her side. I started to become cold toward her. I even deliberately got with Zhou Qingqing, and I even wanted to ridiculously pursue so-called fairness to satisfy my own dark thoughts. But when Zhihu found out, she didn't hesitate to ask for a divorce. I started to panic, but proud as I was, I stubbornly believed she had no right to be angry. She was just throwing a tantrum. As long as I coaxed her, she would forgive me. But I miscalculated. I forgot, when Lu Hongshou cheated, no matter how painful it was, she dared to sever the emotional threads, and that's how I got a chance to rise. When she was kidnapped by Zhou Qingqing, I rushed forward fearlessly to rescue her. Seeing her safe and sound, I felt relieved. Zhou Qingqing was convicted of intentional injury, sentenced, and sent to prison. And in the end, Zhihu and I still divorced. In the 2 years since the divorce, I've been like a voyeur, secretly peeking into her life every day under her videos. Watching her camera shift from one person to two, I knew she had long let go of our feelings, leaving me deeply trapped and unable to extricate myself. I didn't even have the courage to appear before her again. The last time I saw her was in a mall, where her husband was playing games with their daughter. The soccer ball in her hand fell in front of me, and I squatted down, picked it up, and handed it to her daughter. When the little girl saw me, she took the ball from me and said in a childish voice, "Thank you, uncle." As he was about to leave with the ball, he turned around and said again, "Uncle, do you know my mom? I saw you staring at us for a long time." Her big eyes were full of confusion. It felt like something was blocking my heart, like a bone stuck in my throat. I thought, if that child hadn't had a miscarriage back then, she would have grown this big. After a long while, he finally patted her head. His tone was dry. "Yeah, uncle knows your mother. Then why didn't you greet my mom? Your mother probably doesn't want to see me." The little girl looked at me with a puzzled expression. "Your mom is looking for you. Hurry up and go." She hopped and skipped over to Zhihu. "Mom, and uncle just kept watching us and said he knew you." When Zhihu's gaze turned over, I instinctively hid behind the pillar. Zhihu didn't see me, just smiled and patted the girl's head. "Your dad is looking for you. Hurry up and go." I watched as the girl excitedly straddled the man's shoulder, and the three of them looked so happy. My chest suddenly ached badly, and I couldn't stop sweating. Since the divorce, my chest has been hurting from time to time. I went for a checkup but found no problem. Someone nearby asked, "Sir, are you alright? Need help?" I clutched my chest with difficulty, waved my hand, and thanked him. The kind-hearted person then left. I thought, this must be my karma. I lost all the beauty I once had, and now I can only spend the rest of my life in this darkness.